Greetings. This is Lucinda Nord, your new Executive Director of the Indiana Library Federation. Consider this recording a follow-up or part 2 to the status update and transition session led by our ILF Board President, Robin Young. If you missed that recording, please watch it, as we're intending these to be watched as a series. So as Robin described in the first session, I arrived to ILF in late June. I began a series of interviews and meetings with members and leaders across the state using the Aspirations tool from the Harwood Institute. I heard how our members and leaders want the Federation to be the voice for Indiana's libraries, how you want us to provide high-quality professional development, and how we should lead a more proactive advocacy agenda. I heard how our members expect transparency and accountability and want to be engaged in the work directly. I also heard about the challenges and changes that our members see in ILF and in the library community. So in addition to the aspirations, challenges, and changes I heard from members, we reviewed a number of internal and programmatic pieces of data, bylaws, standing rules, policies, procedures, and a lot more. We identified some strengths and liabilities, as well as opportunities for ILF to grow. With all of that information, we developed a work plan that the board approved on August 11th. The work plan is designed to lay the foundation for the creation of the strategic plan we will develop with you as our members over the next year. But first, let me explain a little bit about the origin of the work plan. As many of you may know, I did not come from the library world. I came from the nonprofit human service world. But as a library lover, patron, and donor, and someone who lobbied in the State House for a long time, I feel a strong sense of urgency for the future of our libraries. People in the library field and our core supporters deeply understand the value of strong libraries to student success, to economic development, and to strong communities. However, there are far too many people who do not understand the modern library. People outside who believe that libraries aren't relevant because we have Google and ebooks. Well, that's our job to tell our story better, to show policymakers, funders, and our communities all the amazing things that happen and can happen in libraries. This mirrors what I heard in my interviews of the ILF leaders and members about being the voice for Indiana's libraries. Over the next year, we will develop the strategic vision, but I imagine it may look like what you see there at the bottom, that we will work for all Hoosiers to have access to high-quality libraries, from as early to a pregnant mom reading to her womb, to a new baby, to the talking books that an elderly person has to help comfort them at the end of life. To begin that process, though, the board adopted a work plan that is focused in 5 primary areas. I want to provide you specific detail and update about our progress. So first, we aim to do a little housekeeping, cleaning up the policies and procedures, stabilizing the office staffing, and operating by nonprofit best practices. This ranges from simple and mundane tasks such as updating and protecting our computer technology and software to updating financial policies and procedures, and our employee handbook. The second part of our work plan involves our organizing documents and governance. Our mergers over the last 20 years have made ILF a more well-rounded and cross-sector organization. But like a lot of nonprofits, with each merger we added amendments without carefully amending other parts of our governing documents or altering our practices. So for example, we have a structure that no longer exactly matches our legal status, our organization, or our practices. This is both an issue for insurance and for legal reasons, in that we want to be both compliant with nonprofit law and best practices and to provide appropriate insurance protection for our volunteer leaders and for all the events that we hold. Ultimately, the ILF board is legally responsible for programmatic and financial decisions. So with our latest merger with the ILF endowment, which was completed last December, we have been advised that we must update our governing documents. So this provides us an opportunity not only to clean up our governing documents, but to ask some bigger questions about what structure best serves libraries for the future. Many of our members and leaders agree that the current structure may not be the right one that advances libraries for the future. Our third area of focus in our work plan is to engage our members in an authentic and robust way. I heard that many of you only hear from us when it's time to renew your membership or attend a conference. Well, we want to change that. We want to involve you in the activities of ILF and in our strategic direction, and we plan on providing many ways to do that. Because the reality is that our state is changing. Let me give you a couple examples. So about 40 of our counties are predicted to lose population while 52 are growing. This fact has an impact on funding and patron use. Additionally, our demographics are changing, and the state is becoming more diverse, and millennials now make up the largest group. These changes have an impact on the sustainability of libraries. We're already seeing the impact of funding changes on school libraries and on certain communities where the property taxes have hit the caps. What is clear is that we can work together to create our own future, or we can have it created for us. So the third goal of our work plan is really to engage our membership in the strategic direction that will create the future for libraries in Indiana and for ILF. The fourth area of our work plan focuses on professional development and conferencing. We heard from members that you want us to provide high-quality content and speakers. We heard that many members, for example, when we did our survey, want us to go back downtown and hold our conference at the convention center. But at the same time, we heard that members didn't want us to make too many changes to the conference or to increase the conference registration rates in order to get downtown. So part of our analysis and conversation with you is to evaluate the trade-offs with each of those options. So we are doing a deeper dive. Some of you have been involved in those calls, and we appreciate that. And we've developed some principles for conferencing and professional development. You can see those listed here. So for each professional development opportunity, we are weighing these 4 principles around how well does the opportunity benefit our members? How do we assess the quality of the content and the speakers? How can we make sure that we are generating revenue or breaking even, including our administrative costs, in a more sustainable business model kind of approach? And additionally, looking at how do we work with other partners like the state library and others to maximize those collective resources that are dedicated to professional development. Additionally, we want to provide additional support for volunteers, where we're providing the logistics and volunteers are really driving that content. And all together, we want to make sure that it's aligned with our mission. So our overall goal is still to provide our members high-quality content at affordable rates. We encourage you to look at a deeper dive in this that we'll be uploading soon. The 5th area of our work plan involves communications. With internal communications, we aim to provide you, our members and leaders, much more frequent and relevant information. We aim to increase our communications, transparency, and accountability. One of the first items that you'll see is our annual report for 2016. The second part of our communications plan involves how we tell our story outside of the library community. This we're calling our external communications plan. For this, we're working on a number of initiatives, and you can see a few here where we've refreshed our logo, we're updating our website, we're providing targeted communications to external audiences, looking at a media strategy, and much more. The board voted in October to adapt the American Library Association's Library Transform messaging campaign, and what we're going to do is to adapt that specific to Indiana. So in the coming months, look for new communications tools and templates for use in your own library and in our collective advocacy. Tisa Davis, our communications manager, is developing story templates for sharing best practices and highlights because all in all, we want to elevate our Indiana libraries and the people who work in them. So again, staff and volunteers are working very diligently on the 5 elements of the work plan. As we listen to members and our leaders, we're shuffling those elements of the plan, adding and editing as we go, and we've already made substantial progress. The main idea is that we want to lay the foundation for a larger strategic vision and a strategic plan that will be developed with our membership over the next 9 to 10 months. So tell us what you think about the plan. Share your ideas about how we should be advancing libraries for Indiana. Feel free to contact any one of us in the office or on the board. So on behalf of the board and staff, we want to thank you again for your membership in ILF and your service in a leadership capacity. We hope you will join our next sessions as we outline the specific questions in the strategic visioning process and then prepare for the leadership retreat. We'll be posting mini sessions to help explain the data and the rationale for some of our work. Please don't hesitate to contact me directly to provide me additional information, historical or philosophical context. I realize I'm still on a learning curve at Indiana Library Federation, and I'm counting on you, our members and leaders, to help guide me so that we at the ILF office may serve you and our state in the best possible way. ILF is an incredible organization, and thanks to many of you as our leaders and volunteers who make it all possible. Help us create a better future for Indiana's libraries. Thanks so much for joining.